Everyone. So this is Westfall, and I want to discuss essentially a response to Acid Soul's purchase of a good player video that I will put in the description of this video. And I'm going to discuss this with Brad and AJ. So you can introduce yourselves now.
All right. Hello, I'm Brad or Bradfordly or Turgall.
Hey, I'm AJ. My in-game name is also AJ.
Alright, so just to start off this conversation, I want to talk about macro efficiency and what's you guys' opinion about that, and then I will talk about my opinion in the end. So I guess Brad can start. What's your thoughts on macro efficiency?
Well, in my personal opinion, I believe that macro efficiency is the root of all evil. Oh, and by the way, if you guys don't know what macro efficiency is, it's essentially doing the most efficient thing to gain overall XP.
Yeah.
Basically, and because, like, for example, like if you're to do Twitter Mall, like, it would be more efficient to do the fast skills and then wait for the slow skills to get the value, because you lose more hours with updates with slow skills, relatively speaking. And then you also have macro efficiency in individual skills, so you could still have the macro efficient mindset and do the most efficient method in a certain skill. But yeah, there's different ways of looking at it. But in my opinion, the macro efficient mindset is a bad mindset, because it basically supports the devaluation of skills, and it basically is a bad mindset overall, because it supports the idea of bug abuse. It supports the idea of zero-time GP methods, and even to an extreme extent spins. I mean, a lot of people that are macro efficient, they don't really look at individual skills. They just look at the overall XP skill or the EHP skill, and they don't really care what they have to do to gain XP or EHP. They just do it to the greatest extent. But I mean, having the macro efficient mindset is the most logical path to normal, because you achieve it in the lowest possible time. However, it doesn't. I mean, having the macro efficient mindset, generally, people tend to not have any morals when it comes to RuneScape, and they tend to, I guess, support the devaluation of skills. So yeah.
Well, I actually dislike macro efficiency to an extent. Like, I don't mind macro efficiency in terms of, like, doing the most efficient method for a skill. I don't really like. I think it's going way too far though. Like doing AFK methods, like using alts, bind spins if that were ever the case. Like, I personally, I don't mind if someone does the most efficient method for a skill. Like, for example, like I'm doing mining with the dragon pickaxe with full prospector and everything, because, well, I mean, it's not that I support the devaluation of slow skills. It's just that I want to sort of be competitive with the skill, essentially. So like if I'm going for a record, obviously it would be more challenging to go for a record, like with just a rune pick and like no prospector. But I mean, I don't think it's realistic if I want to go for one, because I don't even have all the free time in the world anyway. So it'd give me a better chance at least. But like, yeah, I don't mind if someone actually does like retic fishing because it was made possible after the release, kind of thing. But like, I would kind of judge somebody very highly if they bought spins or if they did guffins.
You would judge them highly, or?
I mean, I would judge them more. Sorry, I would judge them more. Negatively, of course.
You're so elitist, AJ. Oh my gosh.
Alright. I think a bit similar to AJ, except I guess I'm a bit competitive, but mostly I'm playing for personal achievement, and I am mostly macro efficient in the specific skills I'm doing, although I'm not overall efficient, since I don't use Nightmare Zone for free combat XP. I didn't abuse the 6-hour FK methods at all while they were out, and I haven't used any alts for making money for my Bibles, and I'm also doing slow skills now. Well, I did some fast skills to start off my post-max journey, but now I started doing a lot of agility and fishing, and I plan to do more slow skills in the future, which is theoretically the most inefficient path. But I do like being macro efficient in the individual skills I'm doing, and that's mostly because if I do a inefficient method in a specific skills, let's take for example Abyss Nature Runecrafting. If I do that method now, I used to really enjoy that method in the past. That's why I've done so many hours of it. And I really enjoyed the money and then doing Bibles after that and stuff like that. Now I just feel like I'm wasting my time because it's not the most efficient method anymore to make money or to get Runecrafting XP. So I just feel like I'm wasting my time, so I'd rather do the most macro efficient method for Runecrafting when I'm doing it, like soul runes or lava runes.
Are you doing the most macro efficient method because it's like that method in specific is like the most fun to you, or are you doing it because it's the most macro efficient method?
Yeah,
macro efficiency is fun to you.
Macro efficiency in 07, in at least the skills I'm doing, I do find very enjoyable. But I also think macro efficiency could go too far in the future. Like for example, Brad was mentioning spins earlier, and if that came out, I probably would quit the game because I don't see the point of doing that, and I would feel like I'm wasting my time if I'm not.
Okay,
So
so
they're
I
in
have
a
a
really
question.
awkward spot.
I have a question then. So what do you? So you guys basically both have the macro efficient mindset and individual skills. So what are your thoughts on Turgall all being devalued by 14,000 hours? I mean, Vest, you say you're against spins, but you're also for the devaluation of Turgall all being devalued by 14,000 hours. Like, can you justify that?
Where do you get the number from? Do you mean like a combination of 3-tick fishing, 3-tick recruiting, lavas, and all that?
Basically all of the most macro, like, okay, so we're basically comparing the macro efficient mindset in the beginning of old school to the macro efficient mindset now, and how skills have been devalued. And so, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't like, in general, I don't like devaluation of skills, especially when it comes to making skills more AFK methods. But also overpowered XP methods can be really bad as well, because reducing the hours of a tuner mill make the tuner mill a lot easier typically. Like if a skill comes from like 3,000 hours to like 1k hours only, then it becomes a lot easier for a lot of people to achieve. So in general, I don't like devaluation, but I also enjoy some of the methods that have some of the more modern methods that came into the game, and I might enjoy Soren's later on as well. I do really enjoy tip fishing and such. I don't really care that it's bug abuse, which might sound very amoral, but I mostly just care if it's overpowered or not. As long as it's not overpowered.
Couldn't you say that 3-tick fishing is overpowered because it saves you over 1,000 hours?
No, I wouldn't say it's overpowered, and the reason is that it's so much more effort compared to 5-tick fishing. Like, I would say 5-tick fishing is comparable to semi-botting, because you're basically just not playing the game while you're fishing, unless you are dropping constantly, I guess. So it's not really playing the game, in my opinion. It's kind of like you're just leaving on the boat.
Well, I was basically giving the argument of, just fish one, drop one. That's pretty much what you do.
Yeah, that would be fine too, but I think that's...
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess you're just looking at an extreme method or way of doing it. Like if you're just AFK an entire inventory, but I was just referring to fish one, drop one.
Yeah, but I find that the reason I don't like that method personally is that I think it's very easy to do, especially long term. So I'd much rather do a harder grind with tree ticking, because it's way more fun to me, basically.
Well, if 3-ticking was the same speed as fish one, drop one, would you still do it?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, you said 14k hours. Now I'm not actually in support of 14k hours because I don't want to do lavas. So I'd be more in support of like 9k or 8k hours, depending on other skills. So I'm, I guess I'm in support of like the devaluation of 8K hours in your eyes, Brad. But you know, I'd be a lot happier if the skills just weren't devalued. But I mean, everyone says that. I personally like would rather mining be 65K an hour. The reason the reason why I don't do 65K an hour mining is because it, like, okay, well, I look at it in two different ways. So mining with rune pick, I actually look at that as quite easy compared to like V-pick mining. And another reason is obviously I already mentioned before, like the records side of it would be more reasonable or more realistic to get records.
See, the idea of macro, or basically devaluation of macro efficiency and individual skills, is it makes it more mentally easy for people to be able to achieve it. I mean, if you, like for example, mining, it went from like a 3.4K hour 200 mil to like a 2.7 or so 200 mil, and it's just like like a couple hundred hours of like that somebody might have burnt out if they weren't able to do it. And there's so many contributing factors to why it's so much easier now. I mean, now you have the smoldering stone, which in my opinion was the biggest of it. It doesn't actually take away from any of the hours of mining. It just makes it significantly easier. You only have to drop 66% of your ores, and it just makes it so much more relaxing. And so therefore more people are capable of it because it's more, I don't want to say it's more AFK, but it's more reasonable for people, the average person, to do it, and it's just like, it just annoys me how no one will ever achieve total mining the same way Acid Soul did ever again.
Oh, there must be another guy out there though.
I doubt anyone's as autistic as me.
What if Acid Soul makes another account? What about didn't Romeo do it? What rate did Romeo do it at? Lever Romeo.
Yeah, the same way Acid Soul did it.
Okay.
I was just saying no one will ever do it ever again, is what I meant to say.
I heard Lover also did like 30 mil mining XP at Iron Ores or something.
Yeah, he did 35 mil at Iron.
Was that before Granite came out?
Yeah, it was before Granite came out, and apparently he was super excited about it. So,
So yeah, I guess we can move on to another topic then. Or do you guys feel like you have expressed your opinions on macro efficiency?
I could talk about.
I actually want to ask you a question, Brad, about macro efficiency. So like you're saying that you're not in support of the devaluation of 14K hours, or Turgall being devalued by 14K hours. Yep. Are you in support of? Does that mean you're not in support of like micro efficiency devaluing skills by a certain amount of hours? Because like let's say you're better at a skill, so it's going to take less hours for you overall to get Turgall all because you're getting more XP per hour than another person. Like let's say for example, player A can get Turgall all in 2,000 hours faster than player B because he's better.
I don't really understand, to be honest.
Okay, no. Let's say so like you're rune crafting at like 30K an hour, or actually let's say you're rune crafting at like 27K an hour, and the other guy is like 24K an hour. Would you say that that guy, like one that's getting 24K an hour, is
more of an achievement than the 27?
Yeah.
Probably not, to be honest with you. But I mean, there's so many circumstantial things. Like it really kind of depends. Like if they're actually like just bad at banking or something, like if they're actually like really bad at banking while rune crafting, then I would value the 27K a lot higher because they're obviously trying a lot harder. But I would definitely value the 27 over the 24 because you're tryharding more. It's more click intensive. It should be anyway.
So let's go back to Vestfold's 3-tick fishing. He's trying a lot harder with fishing than the guy with 5 fish 1 drop 1 is.
Yeah, but you could argue that 3-tick fishing is bug abuse, and it takes away 1,000 hours from fishing. It's not like for example, there's no way to make 5-tick fishing any faster than it is, but there's a way to make that 24K an hour to 27K an hour. It's basically optimizing a certain method. Because like 3-tick, 4-tick, and 5-tick fishing are all like different. Like they're all done in a different way, technically speaking, in terms of the micro efficient sense. So.
All right, I just wanted to hear what your opinion on that was then. All right, that's good.
But yeah, that's why we can go to the next question.
All right, so this is this type of efficiency is usually what like our type of players care more about. I mean, the people that are not on the top page, basically. We care more about micro efficiency, which is basically being good at a specific method you're doing for a skill, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the most macro efficient method, which just means the most XP per hour overall, or the skill you're doing.
Yeah.
So Brad can start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Micro efficiency is definitely, it's, well, first of all, I wanted to say that I have the micro efficient mindset, and the fact that I support the idea of being good at a specific method. It doesn't necessarily have to be the fastest method in the game. Like, you could still be micro efficient at doing fly fishing, for example, but not being macro efficient at the same time. So you could be proficient at doing fly fishing by like 3 or 4 taking it, but it's not the best overall XP, obviously, because you're getting strength and agility and stuff like that. So yeah. But yeah, micro efficiency is definitely important, because I mean, there isn't a lot of skill involved in RuneScape because it's pretty much a purely time-based game. But yeah, micro efficiency is definitely really important, because it shows if a player can do a click-intensive method for a given period of time. So yeah, AJ?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely respect a player if he's micro efficient. I would definitely evaluate somebody on that too, because I mean, like, I actually don't want to name any names, but like people who do like a month record, who play like 600 hours but get like the equivalent of like 530, for example, efficient hours played, I'd kind of almost look down upon them, but it's cool that they put in the hours, like it's great, but like it'd be a lot cooler if they actually put in like efficient hours for those hours. So I mean, I would look at them I'd look at a player more highly if they were better at a skill than the average player, I guess.
But if you're saying you would prefer that they do the most efficient method and I'm good at that, then you would also say that
if they're doing the same method and they're doing it inefficiently, then no. If they're doing this, okay, let's say like you were 3-tick fishing and then like some other guy was 3-tick fishing, and you did like 90k an hour and the other guy did like 100k an hour, I would definitely look at the other guy like more highly, even though you guys put in the same amount of hours, for example.
Yeah,
it'd be the same method. It's just like someone's better than you at it.
Okay.
So they're better in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say I would mostly agree with you, AJ. I definitely think micro efficiency is extremely important, and I really value people that are able to be consistently efficient at a skill, especially if it's click intensive, because that requires a lot of focus, a lot of patience, and also like I guess you could say the ability to be efficient at a method is something I really value, because it shows that you can adapt to it, and that means you could probably adapt to like a lot of other different methods as well, and also be good at that. And it just shows that overall you're an amazing skiller if you're able to do it consistently.
Yeah, like if I saw someone who's getting better hours than me, that like I'd respect them like so much. I'd be like, yeah.
Me too. If someone actually can get better 3-tick fishing hours than me, I would be like pretty amazed, to be honest. I would be really impressed with them, even if they didn't play as many hours. That's me every day.
Sounds so elitist, but it's kind of the truth.
Yeah.
No, why does it sound elitist? Like if someone is more efficient than
well,
me,
it's because I know, it just feels, it kind of feels valid.
Yeah, someone's gonna dislike this video because you said that. Let's just say that.
Yes, yeah, just dislike.
Oh, there's gonna be a lot of dislikes for sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Someone's gonna dislike it just because I'm here. I can guarantee it.
It will be me. I'll dislike it because you're here.
I'll dislike my own video. No problem.
Quality over quantity. I don't really care.
Alright, so I guess we have expressed our views on micro efficiency now. It's very important to most of us. even outside of macro efficiency. Okay, so now we go to another topic that I'm sure we all find extremely important, which is consistency. So I guess, Brad, you can start off again if you want to.
Yeah, consistency is for sure extremely impressive. I mean, throughout my years of RuneScape, I've seen countless people burn out of their achievements. And it kind of makes the people that are able to play a certain number of hours, I guess, their achievement more impressive when you look at the people that end up burning out in the end. Like just to name some examples, I mean, like consistency does not have to involve playing like 10 plus hours a day. I mean, if you look at a player like Drowns on RuneScape 3, he's literally been playing 5 hours a day since like 2008 or 2009. I mean, consistency comes in all forms. Consistency can even come in the form of a 30-hour, being able to maintain a certain XP rate of, like, for example, if you were to get 100k XP per hour at 3-tick fishing for 30 hours, that's consistency. It comes down to maintaining a certain either XP rate or a certain number of hours per day for a given period of time within reason. Like if a player played 10 hours a day per year, but like some of the days they would play 8, like I wouldn't consider them inconsistent or something like that. But if they played maybe like 2 hours a day for like a month, then they might not be as consistent as someone who's able to play like 5 hours a day for like 5 years, for example. So yeah, consistency is extremely important because it shows you're very dedicated to the game and that you're able to do basically the same routine every single day without quitting, essentially. So yeah, AJ.
But wait, 1 second. I just want to have an added question on that, Brad.
Okay.
Like, let's say, for example, I play like Acid Soul. Like, you would probably say Acid Soul is very consistent, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, and although he did take, even though after the military, he could have played like 4 months after the military, but he just decided to take it. I'm not exactly sure how long it was, but it was definitely at least like a few months. He took breaks before he started grinding agility. So I was kind of wondering about that, since when he was actually going for his goals, he was extremely efficient, but then he kind of took like a break in between.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Not to devalue the king of Acid Soul himself, it does make the achievement of going for Twitter mill agility slightly easier, because most people wouldn't understand this mindset, but after you do a long-term 200 mil, I'm talking more than like 2,000 hours of a single skill, your brain, you basically get like, I guess deprived. I don't know what the correct word is, but you sort of start to miss the skill and you get really depressed because you're not trained in it anymore. And Acid Soul didn't really have to go through that because he basically did 200 mil mining, and then straight after he went to the military. And so that, like 8 months or so where he wasn't playing, it made it a lot more mentally easy for him to be able to achieve it. It's not to say that he couldn't have done it. I'm just saying it makes it more mentally easy to be able to do that. So yeah, I mean, it's like because like IRL obligations getting in the way of consistency. Like I wouldn't think of Acid Soul any less because he literally wasn't able to play during the military. But the 4 months, I don't really know what to say, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know his actual reasoning, so I don't want to, like, offend him or something. But I guess it would make it a little bit more mentally easy for him to take a break from RuneScape. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Vessel?
I just want to say that Acid Soul did mention in his last video that it felt weird doing agility after like being in a mining background. He still said it felt weird.
Yeah.
Doing it. So I mean, he might still have that feeling a little bit.
No, he's definitely gotten into the pace of agility, say, but now he's...
No, I mean when he started.
Hmm?
I meant when he started. Wait, when he started. He said.
Yeah, that's kind of...
I felt.
We like to call it post-tournament syndrome, where after done a skill for a really long time, it's kind of weird getting into other skills. Then of course you can do it, but it's a bit weird at first, since you're so
like
used
imagine
to
like because I've done 200 mil agility twice. Imagine logging in every single day for a year, training the same exact skill, and then like after the year is up, you train a completely different skill, a completely different method at a different intensity. it's more mentally challenging than you might think.
Sounds emotional.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
emotional. 'cause you miss it.
So what's
Yeah.
your? I was just wondering, what's your thoughts on me doing? I think I was doing like agility for like 4 months straight or something, pretty much. And then all of a sudden, I just did a 45 mil fishing month, all of it really click intensity ticking. So what's your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that of course that's really impressive. Although you did sometimes take a break 3-tick fishing to go train agility, so you could say that. But yeah, it's definitely very impressive to go from more relaxing skill like agility to a skill or to 3-tick fishing, which is obviously really intense. But did you go straight from agility to that fishing month, or did you practice as well?
The night before, I practiced for 2 hours or so, and then I went to bed, and then I did a.
So you literally did 4 months of agility, and then the next day you did an agility or fishing month.
Yeah, well, before the month record, I was in Greece like all day for 1 week. Yeah.
Yeah. I see. Okay. Well, yeah, it's obviously really impressive that you're able to do that, but it's not really the same. I mean, it obviously is incredibly impressive, not trying to devalue your achievement, but it's not really the same of like training a skill and then finishing the achievement and then I guess not being able to train it ever again compared to like, I guess sort of like skill hopping after 4 months of training another skill. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I was skilled.
Yeah,
I was skilled not much with fishing though. Just
yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. All right. So AJ hasn't.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, AJ didn't
Yeah.
share his opinion.
So you can start.
This is consistency, right?
Yeah, this is consistent.
Oh yeah, consistency.
Yeah. I actually just wanted to like ask you guys a question, like, cause you know how like, let's say you're playing like 8 hours a day, doing whatever, the same skill for 8 hours a day, but like, what if you're a person who plays like 4 hours, then he plays like 15 hours the next day, and like 7 the next day, and like it's all like inconsistent hours, like in terms of each day, but it's like an average
That's a
of a
little
certain
bit.
amount.
That's a little bit how I play. Not exactly to the extent, but I do. It always varies a bit every day since my free time varies every day, and also how much I sleep.
Yeah, no,
and
it's
how
like
much I do.
it kind of hurts to be like short-term consistent, but like more
Yeah.
long-term consistent, like if you consider obligations.
Yeah, my long-term consistency is like 11 hours a day, so average.
Damn it, I'm 10, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's like that's my average. But of course, some days I can play a bit more than that. Other days you can play less.
I actually checked before we started the video, like I checked what my hours a day were for the past 10 months.
Okay.
Just like yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
So, okay.
would you
continue.
consider it more impressive? Like, let's say like you had free time. Would you consider it better if a player was actually playing the same amount of hours every single day, rather than like an average of a different amount of hours per day? But
I
over
guess
time?
I guess capitalizing on your free time is another thing. Like if you have like a month where you have unlimited free time to capitalize that, like and play like 15 plus hours a day when you normally play 10, that type of like consistency would not be deemed as bad, obviously, because you're no-lifing and you're just taking full advantage of the free time. So. Yeah.
I also like look at consistency. Like, let's see if you're going for records. Like a lot of people say that like, oh, you shouldn't go for records because you'll just burn out or something like that. But like if you're a player who like goes for records and doesn't burn out, I consider that better than just being consistent overall.
So you think
What do you guys think about that?
So you think like I'm better than a player like Link's Titan, for example, or I mean because I'm
No.
more extreme parts within my general grind, and then
Well,
with my casual parts.
I would more compare somebody who's playing similar hours to you, because Linkstein's been playing all those hours.
Okay. Now I
consistently.
see. So like, let's say someone,
Like
let's say
Drum Gun and comparing Drum Gun and Linkstein, because
Yeah.
Linkstein doesn't go for records, but Drum Gun played
Yeah.
the same amount of hours as him, but went for records at the same time, and he still stayed consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we'll say Drum Gun is a bit more impressive, at least when it comes to not, I think. or consistency. I mean.
Yeah, because he can go like there's nobody said that like Linkstein's never. I don't think Linkstein's ever gone for a record, so you can't say that he would burn out. But like we always see from him is just consistent hours a day. You don't see ever like he gets records, obviously, but he doesn't go for them.
Yeah, but at the same time, he gets really crazy records like 86 mil hunt a month or whatever else.
You guys were going to talk about records.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. Records are like part of the topic for consistency.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I guess I will talk a bit about consistency. Although I think these guys have covered a lot of the points as well. I personally feel like I've been very consistent for the past 2 years. I almost start to get like slightly tired of this the same thing. So that's why I really enjoy how I got like school and other obligations as well on the side. So I don't like only have RuneScape and nothing else. Like I'm not really the type. I'm not really like Link's Titan. I kind of need some variation in my lifestyle in order to not get tired of it, I would say.
I think you're consistent as long as you're actively going for your goal. Like you're fishing, like you're making the effort to fish every day.
Yeah.
Whereas like somebody who would do Hunter for like 50 more XP and then like quit for a month and then come back and do like that'd be like you wouldn't always be actively going for your goal.
Well, okay, AG, what if someone were to like play, okay, this is hypothetical, what if someone were to play 10 hours a day, then 1 hour a day, 10 hours a day, 1 hour a day, 10
well,
you're still
going, you're still have the
mindset. So you would consider that consistent then?
Well, you'd be playing on average like 6 hours a day, so I'd consider that consistent, like 6 hours or whatever hours a day.
Interesting, okay.
I wouldn't consider them a consistent 10 hours a day player, but if like someone were to play like 5 hours a day for a month, then just quit for a month, then like come back, I would consider them losing their drive for their goal. So.
All right. So, do you guys feel like you talked about consistency enough?
Yeah, I think we're good on that topic.
All right. So this is something. Okay, I guess we can first talk a bit about prioritizing slow skills, which I guess we all 3 of us do. So we are gonna be very biased, since we all pretty much just prioritize slow skills, at least currently. So I guess Brad will start first about
okay.
slow skills.
I guess we are going on a schedule, but prioritizing slow skills over Twittermole, basically it's prioritizing slow skills over the macro efficient mindset, essentially. Prioritizing slow skills, in my opinion, is a more impressive way of achieving Twittermole, because you're essentially taking an inefficient route to Twittermole because you'll be spending more hours on Twittermole. And I value hours to be very highly when I evaluate a player, because it shows, obviously, the topic discussed before, consistency. Prioritizing slow skills is important because it shows that you're a very long-term player, and you're I guess committing yourself to the long-term goal of whatever you're trying to achieve. And prioritizing slow skills makes you more mentally capable of achieving Twittermole. So yeah. And there's only been one player to achieve Twittermole doing the slow skills to first, who was Suomi. Everyone else pretty much did fast skills all the way.
First?
No, like there are very few people that like even have done Twittermole who even have like more than 3K hours in skill, for example. So yeah, but prioritizing slow skills is a mindset that like very few people have, and even less people will have when they see like updates added to the game. Like currently, I'm pretty sure Vestfold is probably one of the only people. That you got Vestfold, you have Trickle, you have Gingbino, you had Oi, there's very few people that have this slow, only training slow skills mindset after maxing. Most people just go for the traditional cooking, thieving, crafting, etc. So it's I really value doing slow skills first for the unique factor, and second because it basically ensures that you're a long-term player because you're willing to dedicate a lot of time into the game. So yeah.
Did you say that Vestful did slow skills first?
Well, Okay, more so than like everyone else. Like, I guess like he's changed his mindset where he's doing slow skills now instead of fast skills. But like I mean, Suomi did tuner fletching as his first tuner, so I mean it's kind of a bad comparison.
Did he banks in it, or did he like multi-skill it?
No, he well because doing bolts at the time wasn't viable, and so he strung magic on those.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the only reason I'm prioritizing slow skills is because I kind of care more about like a long-term achievement, and I know that if I was doing a Bible, it wouldn't mean anything to me. Like I wouldn't feel achieved by it. So like I wouldn't want to look forward to like let's say I just did all Bibles first, and then like look forward to like long-term achievement after 1 second.
Yeah, I agree, but at the same time, it's like I felt at the time where I did my slow tuner mills, I did feel quite achieved, I would say. Just because I did them in a very efficient manner and a very consistent. I did them very consistently and very efficiently. All of those aspects made it so it felt quite achieving to get it, but definitely not as achieving as slow XP, of course. Just because it only takes a few months to get those tuner mills, so it's not really that hard in terms of the tuner mill. But I felt like the journey. I mean, I created a lot of challenges along the way of my tuner mill, I guess you could say. So I definitely don't regret doing those fast tuner mills, but I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. Doing slow tuner mills is obviously a lot more challenging as well because they're like obviously a lot more mentally challenging to stick to. I mean, I guess you don't have to necessarily stick to the skills to do slow skills, but yeah.
It's a lot harder because you don't really see that many people that has a slow tuner mill but didn't gain consistently on it. I think there's very few people that haven't like really grinded the slow skill really hard and actually got a tuner mill. All I see is that people that have a slow tuner mill, they grind really hard. Otherwise, it probably would just take too long time, and then they would kind of give up along the way, I would think.
Well, define grinding really hard. Some people like play 2 or 3 hours a day.
Yeah, no, I
Still get it.
I just mean like consistently getting it and not skill hopping that much.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. If you're skill hopping, I kind of like it. I find it kind of defeats the whole achievement of it. Because you're giving your mind the leeway, I guess. Like that's why
I don't think getting to normal mining via skill hopping is a bad achievement. Like I just think doing it straight is more impressive, personally.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I mean, the achievement in terms, like in my eyes, the achievement is like being able to dedicate yourself to something for a long period of time.
Well, okay, hypothetically, AJ, if you were to skill hop between woodcutting, mining, and fishing, let's just say it took you like 5 years to achieve all of them. I mean, at the end of the day, you're still achieving tuner mill, mining, woodcutting, and what was the other skill, fishing or whatever?
It sounds more like a tuner all mindset because you're making it easier on yourself mentally to achieve different skills.
Yeah. I mean, if that's what's effective and that's how you achieve tuner all, then great. It's still a massive achievement to be able to get that. It's just more difficult to do it straight because it's obviously
more challenging, and the challenge enhances the achievement.
At the end of the day, they'll both hit tuner mining, woodcutting, and fishing, but the player that did them straight would be deemed more impressive because it's more mentally challenging to stick to a particular method for a longer period of time. So.
I feel like if I had to resort, the thing is, if I feel like if I had to resort to skill hopping to achieve my goals, I'd probably rather just quit. Like I always think.
So then is skill hopping more mentally challenging for you than AJ? Because it would make you quit. Think about it like that.
No, it's not mentally challenging. That's why it would make you quit. Because it's not challenging enough.
Yeah,
it defeats the purpose of me playing the game.
It is one of those type of players that likes achieving them himself, just like me. So therefore, it won't make it more challenging, in my opinion. I actually don't mind doing FK skills that much. Like I can just watch anime or do other stuff while doing it. So I don't even mind doing FK skills. It's just that long term I don't feel I achieve at all. So that's why I don't do them personally.
I was about to say something that was for another topic, but yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, never mind.
You want to go to the next topic, Justin?
All right. So now we can talk about something that Brad.
Wait, did we talk about the Turgall mindset during that?
Yeah, we did.
Well, we were comparing doing slow skills to Turgall versus doing fast skills, basically.
Oh, okay. I wanted to ask
Okay.
about being Turgall efficient, instead you're prioritizing fast skills. Or let's say the RS3 mindset where you're many people have told me that skill hopping is micro efficient and doing dailies and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is
It's a macro efficiency to a remote
Yep.
mindset. I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it goes back to macro efficiency, how it just makes it more mentally easy for people to be able to achieve it because you're basically not spending as much time, but you're getting more reward for the activity that you're doing because they're dailies and stuff like that. So that's how they work. So yeah, it's basically supporting the idea of skill hopping.
What are your thoughts on dailies, Brad?
I mean, they're pretty disgusting to be honest because you can spend warbands are probably the biggest example of the valuation with dailies. You could basically spend 15 minutes and get 360k mining, even less than that. Get 360k mining for not actually training the skill in the first place. A lot of these dailies just give you an inflated amount of XP for the amount that you're actually doing or training. I honestly really dislike it. Supports the idea of logging into the game for an hour a day, and that's basically the most efficient thing you could possibly do aside from buying spins. So at that point, you're not even really playing the game. I mean, you are playing the game, but it's just to do dailies, and it's just. I mean, I guess it's because I have more of a traditional opinion that you should have to spend a lot of time doing skills, while the RS3 mindset has changed to where you're trying to spend the least amount of time possible to achieve your goals.
But Brad,
not personal achievement.
I was wondering, what's your thoughts on tree run farming then? Since that's basically
this is something that I have talked about before in the Soul CS a lot. I really dislike trees, or not trees, but I dislike the how farming has a trees option because it's basically, I mean, with trees, in my opinion, farming is not really even a skill that should be valued that highly, in my opinion, because you're spending 10 hours a day max, and you're getting 210k or whatever farming XP. I mean, it doesn't require any effort at all whatsoever. It doesn't. I mean, maybe logging in once or twice a day. That's it.
You think just trees?
XP. Yeah, just trees. I don't really find trees.
You think melon and herbs
are more melons and herbs are literally the most insanely respectable achievement in the world because literally you have to. I know it might sound contradictory to my previous achievement previous statement because I like the idea of sticking to a skill, but the idea of leaving the skill you're doing every 80 minutes to do a watermelon run is a lot more challenging than
mental break.
I mean, personally for me,
I used to do that all the time back in RS3, and I consider that a mental break.
I guess it kind of varies per person, but I guess because I was doing Hunter and I had to deal with all the bots, and the bots would crash me, it was a lot more difficult for me personally. But
so you're justifying the break now.
I'm justifying. No, I'm just saying I value XP gained off watermelons to be very high because you're spending a lot more time on Turgall farming, obviously, and it's not a skill that you just train for 10 minutes a day. And Turgall farming is literally 250 hours, 300 hours max. Well, with watermelons, it's probably more 1 point something K. Way more than that actually. So it's obviously a lot more valuable, and it's something that you have to be. If you were to do watermelons purely to Turgall, you would have to be extremely consistent for a very long period of time.
What if somebody didn't do farming at all and got Turgall except for farming, and then they logged on twice a day just to do a tree run?
I mean that's pretty much that's very similar to what Drumgun did. Drumgun got max total. He was at one build total XP with level 66 farming. And farming, I'm pretty sure, was Drumgun's last 200 mil or second last 200 mil because he just waited till the very end to get it because he disliked having to leave the skill he was currently training because he liked to stick to skills, I guess. But,
wow.
yeah.
So wouldn't you say in some instances then that skill hoping might be more impressive since it's more annoying to some specific people?
Yeah. It's as I said before, it's all circumstantial.
Yeah.
I mean, like at the end of the day, I'm gonna have more time in farming than anyone that achieves 200 mil purely off trees. So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't use 0 time GP, if you like runecraft for your money, then farming is a lot more respectable. But like most people just use alts to fund their trees,
Yeah.
and so you're not actually having to spend any time making money for the trees, and so therefore it's not really valuable at all. Like in my opinion, personally, it's
Yeah, I
literally
totally
an
agree with you.
800K
So just like every other viable, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. But farming more so because you barely have to spend any time on it.
Yeah, and it's also
compared
like
to most levels.
if you add it up, it's like 1 mil XP per hour or some shit. So
Yeah, so
You're almost spending the same amount of time on cons as farming though. What are your opinions on that?
yeah, well, con is
well,
more
obviously
intense.
Respect con more because it's more intensive.
Yeah, it's a bit
well,
more
yeah,
intense.
of course, and the fact that like you can't do trees like straight, like there's no way to power level. Oh, I guess you could do calquats technically speaking, but like no one's gonna really do that all the way, unless they're gonna go for a record. But yeah, there's no way to power level trees really. And how many hours is Tunermal construction off mahogany tables?
I believe it's 350 or so.
Oh wow, 350. Yeah,
Less than that.
there's a lot of people that really resent doing construction due to the intensity required. So yeah.
What about
Yeah,
bank spending fletching? Because that's actual hours compared to multi-skill in it.
Are you talking about stringing bows?
No,
Or
well,
the
both. But let's say someone did darts. That's like 2 mil XP an hour.
Yeah,
You can fund that through alts.
yeah. It's are you comparing this to tree runs basically?
Yes.
I mean,
I'm questioning
It's literally-
like you thinking farming is the least.
okay. I would actually value Tunermal farming off trees more than Tunermal fletching purely off darts bank standing because you actually have to do farming. Like if you were to do 1 tree run a day for farming, it would probably take you like 3+ years.
So you're not
And-
valuing the consistency bit of it.
Yeah, the consistency. Like you could literally bang out Tunermal fletching in a week. Well, it's impossible with farming. So yeah.
You could bang out construction in under a month, but you can't do that with
Yeah.
farming.
Yeah. I would probably say, I don't know. They're pretty much equal to be honest with you. Because farming requires a shit ton of time, construction requires a shit ton of effort. It's basically comparing those two, and they both require pretty much a similar amount of GP. So I think anyway. So,
When I'm doing construction personally, like if I'm gonna do it at all, then I really want to go for like some crazy record in it because that's the only way it will be achieving to me personally. I like go for like a 100 mil construction week, for example. I think that will be the only way to make construction actually challenging to me. But that's just
Finish
my
200
view.
mil in under 2 weeks, and I'll respect you.
Hmm?
Finish the rest of 200 mil in under 2 weeks, and I'll respect you.
Yeah, that would actually have been my goal if I'm gonna do construction, but yeah.
And if not, you're shit.
Yeah, if not, I'm shit, yeah. Okay, so do you think you guys are finished with that topic?
I am personally. I don't know
Yeah.
about AJ.
Yeah. So this is something that's extremely important to Brad. So like, he's gonna talk about it a lot, but yeah, some morals. We'll start with Brad. Yeah,
Okay.
morals about the game. So first you can explain a bit what we mean by morals.
Well, I define morals is basically a mindset. It's basically saying what you are going to do as a player and what you aren't going to do as a player. It basically it's morals are literally one of the most important things I look at when evaluating a player because it pretty much tells me if you will be a spin buy or not. I know that sounds crazy to just say straight out the bat, but people like if you are a player who goes for overall XP and you use 0 time GP to fund your viables and your goal is to get to normal in the fastest way possible, that your mindset supports the idea of buying spins for Twitter Mall, essentially. And so a player, so that would be a player who has essentially zero morals because they're doing whatever it takes to be efficient. They're even willing to do guffins or to bot to be efficient. Yeah, so I obviously strongly disagree with that. A player who has strong morals is, I mean, like, it's like a player that has strong morals is so much, it's just like a player could have like 5,000 less EHP than a player that has no morals, and I would still value the player with morals better than the player with no morals, because the player with morals wouldn't buy spins, essentially, or bot even to gain XP. So yeah, like morals are just, when I see a player with good morals, it's just such a nice sight to see, because in this day and age in RuneScape, very few people actually have morals because they honestly don't really give a fuck. They're just willing to do whatever it takes to be the most efficient they could possibly be. They don't really care about the personal achievement side of it. They don't really care if skills get devalued. And so yeah, like a moral code, like I have extremely strong morals when it comes to RuneScape. Like I really dislike the any idea of like an update, even if it's quality of life, because it believe it or not, it like slowly devalues a skill. Like mining has not really seen one significant mining update. It's just been like several small ones that have progressed.
Well, wouldn't you say smoldering stones is a big update?
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't increase the XP per hour. It just makes it more, I guess, more AFK in a sense. So, like, a player that has morals, strong morals, might not do that, so they don't support the idea of skills getting devalued, and so therefore they aren't willing to do it, so therefore their achievement could be deemed as more impressive, because they aren't willing to do these things that would devalue skills. It's very confusing, basically, when I elaborate a player, but it often goes off the assumption if I see a top page player like Randalicious, like Randy would obviously buy spins. He's a very typical RuneScape 3-esque type of player who is basically competing for overall XP and will do whatever it takes to gain as much XP as possible because he likes to get a lot of XP. That's just who he is. So yeah, but yeah, again, morals are extremely important to me because it basically says what you will and you won't do to remain efficient. So yeah.
But do you think it's important though? Like for example, person like Chance Music, he doesn't use alts for money making, although he doesn't think there's anything wrong with using alts for money making. He just doesn't enjoy it personally. So what's your thoughts on someone like that doesn't really care?
Trance doesn't have morals. Like you could just say that it sounds dumb to say, but you could just say he's too lazy to use an alt. Like he just doesn't enjoy doing it, so therefore it can be deemed as him being lazy. He doesn't actually have morals. He just refuses not to use it because he can't be fucked, basically.
Would you call me lazy then, for example? Because it would be ridiculous to call someone lazy, like someone like me that probably is one of the people that puts the most effort into the game. So it sounds kind of ridiculous to say I'm too lazy to use an alt, even if I don't deem it immoral.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure with you because like you told us before that you like would use an alt to fund your viables, so I don't really know.
But I don't use it though, and don't.
But like if you ended up getting Turgall, you would eventually use them.
No, not necessarily. Like if Shorelands are decent money, I could just do some merching on the side, and then could probably afford Turgall just doing that. And I don't think it's
but I'm just saying that like I don't know if you actually do have morals. You're just basically I don't know.
I'm not sure either.
When you first started playing old school, you definitely did have morals. Like you were really against like any of these updates, but like most people, they end up losing the morals because updates become too tempting or whatever. So
yeah, you kind of feel like you just have to like accept the game how it is over time, you know.
If I had that mindset, I'd be playing.
Not really.
No.
Like I'm actually afraid of Slayer becoming a daily with this new skill key perk update, and if it did come to that, I wouldn't even need to take part in that. Because I don't believe that Slayer should be trained like that, or any skill should be trained like that, besides farming.
Do you train farming?
I said besides farming.
Oh, besides farming.
I mean, the thing is, like, farming is logical in that sense, but like Slayer wouldn't be. So like, it would devalue like the integrity of skilling in my as the way I look at it in the big picture.
Yeah, farming is a bit different because on the release of farming, it was like that, I guess.
I mean, not even that. It's just like that's just like what the farming skill is to me. It's just like planting something and then waiting for it to grow. Like there's that wait time, right? Like I'm just gonna stand there and alk or something. But yeah, I guess morals to me is more like it's not like essentially just morals. I kind of look at like the integrity of how you value skilling. I guess like someone who doesn't use alts, someone who doesn't AFK, someone who doesn't like wouldn't buy spins is actually putting effort into the achievement that they're getting. Like I'd respect someone who actually puts more work in for what they get. But like if you're altscaping slash et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, like you're not putting the same amount of effort as somebody else who is making their own money, actually training the skills instead of AFKing them, et cetera, et cetera. But like that's just as a player. I'm not going to disrespect them as a person for that, because I mean like my morals in game are not the same as in real life, or not relatable. So yeah. I guess not as in depth, but that's my sum of morals.
Vessel, what is your opinion on morals?
I'm not sure actually. By the way, I wanted to say that people have been mentioning my alt best ball and the fact that I'm like 97 on it, but I did it for fun and to pay for some bonds basically for free membership. So that's the reason I used it myself, just because I wanted free membership and I didn't want to spend my my main alt's money making just on membership. So
your main alt? What? You have a main alt?
no, I mean my main account for for.
I'm actually I do the same thing. I have an alt to pay for bonds because I don't like to spend real life money on the game.
Yeah.
So your guys' achievement isn't as impressive because I worked IRL.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's like $5
my
per
thoughts.
month. So.
My thoughts on that, Brad, is that you win the argument.
Good fight.
Yeah, even though.
Yeah, you guys have 0 time bonds. I actually had to spend time getting my money. So.
Also, you didn't get it from your parents or something. You were.
If you guys could real world trade legally and it was legal, would you do it?
No, wouldn't do it.
That's a real life moral. Then.
Actually, okay, if it
moral.
was hypothetically legal, which it would never be, even though I guess it kind of is in RS3. But,
like you can sell GP.
I would have such a hard time doing it, to be honest, because I'm probably never. The only way I'm gonna quit this game is if I hypothetically start talking to girls, or I go to jail, which is not gonna happen. So yeah. There's no point in. I would never end up selling my GP. I guess I would sell my GP to get out of jail.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years, Brad?
Hopefully not doing agility still.
Oh, so a different skill.
Yeah, because then Vessel would stop saying, "Oh, adapt."
But then you're gonna be skill hopping, Brad. It's not gonna be as challenging.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Brad, what if someone spent like 50 years of their life doing agility their whole life? Got like
Vessel
20 bill.
wouldn't think it's impressive because it's like, oh, agility is so easy in AFK. It's so.
Blah, blah,
Vessel, see, the problem with Vessel is he doesn't value time. He only values effort, and that's the problem.
No, it's time spent doing effort. The combination of effort and time.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Time is more important to me.
So I think we'll go to the next topic now, which is basically competition. I don't think any of us really feel that. I don't think any of us are that positive about competition, though. So I guess.
CML competition.
Are you saying positive?
No, I said I don't think any of us are that positive when it comes to competition because I think most of us like play for personal achievements.
Well, it depends on the competition. I don't care about overall ranks one bit, but I care about the CML competition a lot. I think that like records and stuff is. I enjoy that competition.
Well, when it comes to records personally, I don't think there is any competition for me. At least like in 3-tick records, or even if I'm gonna do 3-tick recruiting too. It's not gonna be any competition. While I'm
What if a guy had like 60 mil woodkite month? You wouldn't aim to beat him?
60 mil recruiting month?
Yeah, and you had to beat that. Would you, what would happen if you got 59 mil? Would you feel like you're like worse than the guy?
I'm not sure what I would feel. I would probably just give him credit for being a bit slightly better than me. But if he beat me only because like some real life things came up and I had to waste like more than 10 hours, so and that was only the difference, then I wouldn't say it was necessarily more impressive. But although I would give him, I would say that he did deserve number one still. Just yeah.
What about individual ranks then, Vessel? Like what if you're like 195 mil fishing, and then another guy was like 196 mil? You wouldn't like push yourself a little more to make sure you get the rank above that guy? That's being competitive.
There is a guy like that. I'm not sure what his username is. Like in rank 5 fishing is like, I think it's like 176 mil fishing or some shit now. And he's only getting like 12 mil fishing months or something like that. So I'm getting like double on him. So it's gonna be really close to the middle, it looks like. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna get rank 5 or not.
But AJ was asking, are you gonna compete for him? Is that your goal essentially to beat him?
No, it's not my goal.
Are you gonna try to? No? Okay.
It's not my goal. I focus on.
Do you feel any different at all? Is what you're saying? If you got rank 5 other than rank 6?
Well, the only difference is that rank 5 looks a bit better than. I mean, 5 is a better number than 6, but other than that,
it's a justification, though.
yeah, that's the only.
But yeah, competition for me is like competition. In my opinion, is very good because that essentially like pushes people to their limits, I guess, in terms of no-lifing especially. But it also is incredibly not healthy to no-life because you're making yourself stay up for longer periods of time and stuff like that. Obviously, longer-term consistency isn't as bad, but in terms of competition. But yeah, like for me, like I competed for rank 1 agility, and I essentially had to play. Well, I didn't really have to, but I felt the need to because in case rank 2 had Brimhaven tickets. But yeah, I was playing like 17 hours a day for like 3.5 months to get rank 1 agility, and it was extremely difficult. Like it was extremely well. It wasn't really competitive because he didn't really care about the rank as much as I did, so it was kind of sort of it. Like I guess it was a personal achievement and competing at the same time.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah.
It can be both too. Of course, it doesn't have to be one or the other. So that's important to add as well.
Yeah. But we're going to be discussing like free time later in this podcast. But yeah, I just want to go.
No,
briefly.
You can discuss it now as well if you want, if you think it fits. So you can just...
But yeah, like competition is heavily, like almost 100% based off free time. So competition in RuneScape is very, very strange to me because it honestly really depends what your IRL obligations are. It doesn't necessarily mean who's better.
Yeah.
That's why I value CML competition more because it's more sort of short-term and realistic. Like
Yeah,
a day record, anyone can really compete for a day record or a 6 hour.
Yeah.
I think it's really dependent on free time.
Yeah, for sure.
Or like getting like the best hour in a skill even too.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, in regards to competing for EHP, like I've never really understood competing for EHP because all EHP is gonna one day be devalued. So yeah, I don't really.
Well, records are gonna be devalued too, though.
Yeah. But like permanent ranks in the high scores won't ever be. So.
Oh, permanent.
I guess. Yeah. I guess permanent year records won't ever get devalued either.
Permanent year records.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, for example, like I did a 200 mil agility.
Oh yeah, okay.
Well, they will in terms of XP, but not in terms of hours, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's why I also like what records is that the hours that was put into it won't ever be devalued.
Yeah, I like that.
Like
too.
drum guns, defense month.
Yeah, or
like that always to me that always have the same amount of value.
I would say like not Force Break. Drum guns best month record of all time. I would say is the Hunter month. I think it was Didn't you say it was 20 hours a day or 21 hours a day, Brad, or something?
Yeah, it was approximately like 6:30-ish hours.
Yeah, so that's like the most insane shit I've ever heard in my life, and
He did this
not
in the
do that.
actual like he did this in the actual like 2007 and 2008.
Yeah, so like really early on in the game too, and I could not do that, to be honest, at all. So
And
it
keep
was
in mind,
crazy.
at the time, no one had ever done a 500. So
Yeah.
when he did that.
It's just insane.
Not even him.
I mean,
He never did
very
a
few,
500
very
either.
few people these days have even done a 500. So.
You seen Brad that he never even did a 500 prior to that?
Oh well, you know what I mean. Like
said nobody else.
no one else besides him. Yeah.
I don't think anyone else has done a 600 hour yet.
No one else has done it as far as I'm aware. Skiller 703 is pretty.
No,
close.
no, I have been to fishing.
Get out of
Yeah,
here.
I did like
That's
6
6
hours.
hours?
Yeah,
Dude,
6
you had a
hours.
heart attack during yours. So get out of here.
Okay. Yeah, but by the way, I also want to talk a bit about epilepsy because someone has been confused about what causes my epilepsy, which is basically mental stress. Like you know how you get really stressed out from a test in school, for example, or if your work or assignment isn't done yet and you only got a little bit of time. Those are the kind of things that would trigger my epilepsy. Sleep deprivation is a small part of it, but I usually don't get seizures when I go for records at all. So stress is more important, and as long as I feel relaxed while doing the records, it's okay. But yeah, should we go on to the next topic?
Sure.
All right. Grounding, skill upping. I feel like we kind of talked about that already, to be honest. So
Yeah. We could briefly talk about it, I guess.
no, I think we should just go to the next one. To be honest.
Okay. All right.
Okay, intensity. I talked a bit about
Oh
that.
god.
Yeah, no reason to talk about this one.
This is Vestfold's favorite topic in this entire discussion. But intensity obviously is extremely important. Back when I used to play RuneScape 3 and when agility was pretty much one of the most intense skills, it honestly felt like so much more rewarding knowing that like I was doing like one of the more impressive skills because it was the most intense at the time. So yeah, I've always valued intensity to be pretty high in terms of an achievement, but intensity doesn't really mean as much to me unless they're doing it like consistently. Because like if you're doing an intense method and then you AFK, like if you do like 30 minutes of intense 3-tick fishing and then you do 30 minutes of just AFK an entire inventory of fishing, that's kind of like weird to me. Like you're not really, I guess, tryharding the entire time, so you're kind of more you're taking sort of a relaxed, intensive approach to it. You're just doing it intense whenever you feel like it. While if you have the mindset of doing 100% intensity, you're always putting maximum effort into the skill. So yeah, I obviously admire those who are always putting the most intense effort into skilling.
I was just gonna point out that it's a bit funny I was talking about this too because I'm currently just recording myself doing 3-tick fishing and stuff constantly. So it's like, yeah, you can tell that I have a lot of bias, of course, when it comes to this topic. But since I have personal experience, I know how challenging it is, and I've been doing like a lot of intensive methods for like 3 years, pretty much, so close to that. So, but yeah, I think AJ should start now. I think AJ is also someone that does a lot of intensive skills, I would say.
Yeah. If you like, I just want to start off by saying like, if you're a player who just does like AFK shit, like cooking on the sides while you're doing other stuff, or like you're doing crafting just because it's something easy to do while you do something else, like I don't consider that XP like valuable at all. Like any XP you gain from like
and you called Vestfold elitist. Holy shit.
Like I really value like someone who's actually putting effort into what they're getting. So like 3-tick fishing over like AFKing it, like actually doing grind it over quarry, like shit like that, like doing anti-venoms instead of like whatever else for herblore. Like I value that. I don't value like just sitting there. Like if you're doing it and you're just looking at your screen, like that's cool, I guess. You're not doing anything else on the side, but if you're doing it just because it's something on the side you can do while you play like Xbox or while you do homework and stuff. I'm not gonna value that at
I
all.
was gonna ask then, what's your thoughts on me watching stuff while I do TP fishing?
Well, you're putting more effort into the fishing, though. You're not actually putting effort into watching what you're doing. It's something that it occupies your mind whilst you're doing it. That's different. I'm talking about.
He's basically saying it's making it more mentally easy to be able to achieve because he's watching something.
Yeah, I don't mind that, but what I do mind is when people like when they're playing another game on the side, they have RuneScape, just AFK and RuneScape on the side just for something to do, and they call that an achievement. I completely disagree with that.
Well, it's all relative, of course. Like many RuneScape 3 players do that, as you said, or basically what you're describing. It's like to them it would be an achievement because they had to, I guess, spend time doing it, but it's just they're not putting as much effort into it. So to us, it's not as valuable.
Time and no effort is not effort in my opinion. Like time, no effort, actually like putting work into what you're doing is not effort, even if you're AFKing it.
Yeah.
But Brad, didn't you? I remember you were worshipping like doing sharks to tournament fishing for a while because it's extremely slow and it takes a shitload of hours. So do you want to talk a bit about that, or have you changed your opinion? So.
Well, it's honestly one of the subjects that I've kind of sort of changed my opinion about because you can make the argument. Tails, I don't know if you guys know who Tails is, the audience, but he is a player that kind of convinced me that. I mean, you're not actually spending any time fishing because, well, okay. Most people wouldn't actually be like watching their screen while doing fishing. Most people would be doing something on the side while doing fishing.
Exactly.
So, like for example, you only have to click every probably 1 or 2 minutes when doing fishing sharks. So you're only spending that much amount of time fishing sharks. You're only spending that amount of time having to see when your inventory is full and clicking on the fishing spot and then banking, which obviously doesn't require that much time at all. So I don't know, I mean 13.3 thousand hours of sharks. It's such a tough argument to make.
Imagine if they did fish one
it would literally take you 4.5 years of playing 9 to 10 hours a day, which it's just such a hard thing to not value to me for some reason, because that amount of dedication of sticking to one skill, one method, not doing any skill hopping whatsoever, not changing methods at all for 4.5 years. I mean, I know you guys probably don't value time as much as I do, but it doesn't really actually require that much time because you're doing stuff on the side. But to me, it's just the consistency required to be able to do something like that, even if it is AFK, is just so insane to me. Like, I personally can never be able to do 4.5 years of a single method or skill. In fact, no one has ever done 4.5 years of a single skill, really.
If they ticked sharks, that'd be all right. If they 4-ticked it, that's fine. They're actually putting effort into it. But it doesn't matter. If they 5-ticked it just because it's AFK, which is what would be their reasoning, and they just worked, did their job something you do on the computer or something like that, and just had that on the side.
I guess to me, AJ, if you were to no life the fishing sharks, to me, it would be a lot more impressive because you would. I mean, yeah, it's not very intensive or anything, but you would still be playing. If you were to play 15 hours a day and doing sharks all the way to 200 mil, I would pretty much value it as no lifing, purely no lifing, and I guess being able to sort of stick to a single activity. Because I mean, AJ, do you think you're capable of doing sharks to 200 mil? I'm genuinely curious. Are you capable of playing 10 hours a day for 4 years of fishing sharks? You think you're capable of doing that?
You think so?
That's not effort at all.
I mean, AJ, you probably don't even have.
I could play Xbox for 10 hours a day and fish sharks.
You probably don't even have 13.3k hours on RuneScape in general. So I don't know.
It's irrelevant.
I'm just saying. It's more you guys are just taking it for granted. I feel like.
Well, but I mean, the thing is though is that you could just you could study, so you could just study, and then you can play all the games. So as long as it's just somewhere around the computer and doing stuff. Doesn't even matter.
It's like saying that you're spending 13k hours around the computer.
Yeah.
And you're calling that
Yeah, I understand that. I understand. It's just the amount of just the pure amount of hours, and the fact that no one's ever spent that many hours in a skill, and just the dedication of not being able to skill hop at all for 4.5 years, is something that I do not think
They can though. They can play on another account and do different skills on it.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be valuable because it would be 0 time.
Yeah.
Because you're fishing at your moon.
I find fishing sharks is almost 0 time. Like AFK fishing sharks for 13k hours is more than hours. You're prioritizing more on other stuff on the side. Well, you're putting RuneScape on the side.
Well, I mean, of course, it's all very circumstantial. It really depends, like, what they're doing, I guess.
If you're a person that's like, all right, I'm going to look at my screen for 13,000 hours and fish sharks. I'm going to look at my screen and not do that'd be cool. Fine, I can understand that. But that's 0% the case. No one ever does that.
Yeah.
Unless,
I guess it would be a lot more valuable if, like, randoms were dangerous still, and you kind of had to pay attention. More so.
Even still, that's not that you can kind of look at you can kind of glance at your screen and notice a random.
I guess the reason I have my opinion that I do is, first of all, because I value time in a skill, and second of all, because I was sort of brought up in a RuneScape 3 mindset. Not completely like a RuneScape 3 mindset, but I've been around people that have done a lot of AFK things, and so I don't just completely negate an achievement just because it's AFK, like a lot of people in old school seem to do. I still value like for example, Drumgun has like 5,000 or probably like 4.5k hours in fishing, which is more than any other. Like he has more time in a single skill than anyone on top page in RS3, just in fishing.
But Brad, I personally got like 50 mil fishing from just fishing rocktails in.
Yeah, no, I had like 70 mil fishing from rocktails as well.
Yeah, I felt like it's super easy. No, nothing.
It was of course easy, but like to me it was incredibly difficult because that was like the first long-term achievement that I had ever done at that time. I mean, it was like 1.8k hours of fishing straight, and to me it was incredibly difficult because it was honestly a test of patience because I eventually just got really just bored of just AFKing all day long, so I eventually ended up. It was actually the only time in the history of me playing RuneScape where I've actually quit just because I was, I guess, so bored of playing. So keep in mind that I was younger at the time, but still.
Okay.
What topic are we on? Oh, intensity, of course.
Well, this might be the end of the podcast because, well, there's one more topic I've written, which is nolifing and records, but I feel like we talked a lot about that already, about records and stuff.
A little bit.
Yeah. So, but is
Not
there
really,
anything else
not
you want to
really.
say?
Well, like what, how do you value nolifing? Like,
Yeah.
like you. Okay, talk about your let's talk about our nolifing experiences and like compare them to like what we got like.
Well, I feel. Well, Vestfold and I definitely have a lot of experience no-lifing in terms of months and weeks and stuff like that. Like I've personally done 500 plus hour months. So I have a lot of credibility in terms of like talking about no-lifing in terms of month records and such. I've done a 140 hour week on RS3. I've done like 430 hours and stuff like that. So yeah, I've done like. Sorry.
I actually want to ask both of you. Do you value like the time spent awake or the time spent on the game?
It's kind of separate to me. Like the time spent awake is an achievement, of course, but the XP gained or the HP gained is also incredibly impressive as well.
It's
like just the idea of somebody sleeping 4 hours a night for a month on its own, in my opinion, is incredibly impressive.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I kind of mixed feelings about it personally, because I feel like some people find it very easy to do that because they're like used to it, or maybe they have some kind of like sleeping disease or something, disorder or something. But like Elvis, for example, he can't sleep much more than 3 hours a day, so he doesn't find it that hard to sleep 3 hours a day because it's just...
But it's still difficult to be playing that many hours a day.
Yeah, that's the thing. So if you're able to spend all the time in RuneScape, and especially if you are being efficient, very efficient, that's very hard to do. So
to me, to me, I feel like a lot of people are capable of being consistent, but a lot less people are capable of being consistent while going for records.
Yes, yes.
Like it's one of the it's in my opinion it's like I mean okay I'm not trying to call out anyone, but Hey Jace, for example, he's extremely consistent. He's been consistent from pretty much the very beginning of old school, but he has 0 records in terms of month, week,
he has day
or day.
and
Does he have a day?
he has construction day, and he has
okay.
6 hours.
Well, okay, fair enough. But for the most part, he doesn't go for records, and I guess he has a consistency record in terms of a year, but like he doesn't. He's not. It's not like he's really going for the record. And so like records are huge because like you're essentially like you have to like prepare for them, and you have to like I guess like record like at the end of a record you can often get demotivated because you basically play a shit ton of hours, and then once you end the record you're basically like sort of almost burnt out, it feels like, from just playing so much.
That's if you actually really enjoyed it. And then there's some people who do the record and don't enjoy it, and they're just glad that it's over, kind of thing.
Yeah, of course.
I had the depressing feeling after I did my Hunter week.
Yeah, and like
recently.
And like it's all sort of circumstantial. Like Drumgun played like 18 hours a day for 7 years, and like it would be funny to say every single one of his months that he did for 7 years a record, or just the ones that he went for. So
a record is something that you push yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a record is a record, but like nolifing is nolifing. Yeah. Like a record,
I mean,
you still get records.
You could also have like personal records as well, like just personal best records. Like it doesn't have to. Records don't have to necessarily be the best that's ever been done, or in a skill or a method. They could just be for like they can even be like an hour record. Just try to beat your best hour record.
Yeah.
So So I'm just saying that for all those people who don't have like a shit ton of free time, you could still like challenge yourself to go for achievements, which I think even like we do that. Like I try to, for example, get the best hour that I possibly can at Door, for example. And I'm sure AJ tried to get the best hour he could at Black Chins to try to challenge himself.
Yeah, I've been kind of trying, even while making this video, I've been tryharding Diddy fishing very consistently now for over 1.5 hours. So.
I mean, you could also like, even if you don't have much free time, you can still like challenge yourself, like, because it's sort of relevant to RuneScape, I guess. Like challenge yourself to see how many hours during a week you can stay awake. Like, if you sleep, like basically sleeping. How many hours a night can you sustain for a week?
Yeah.
Or a month?
The best nolifing record I have so far, in terms of, well, I guess in terms of months, it's definitely my fishing month, but in terms of like a week, it's still my thieving week record. That's the most hours. I think I played 21 hours a day or so.
Yeah, your thieving week is ridiculous, dude. Like, holy fuck.
Yeah, I slept like 2-3 hours a day. And
that probably won't ever be me.
I don't really have money. My most valuable one is just my Hunter week, because I was like awake for 145 hours. I worked like 25, which made it even harder.
Well, to be honest, AJ, you haven't actually really spent like, it's because you haven't really had that much experience doing Turgall yet, or even really going for records, because I mean you kind of just sort of started out, but you have a shit ton of potential. So, like, I'm sure you'll do a ton of records.
Are you saying? Wait, what do you mean? Where are you going with that?
Well, I don't know. I was just saying, like, you're only Turgall so far as Hunter. Okay, that sounds like, I'm not trying to offend you by saying that. I'm just saying, like,
no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
I'm just saying, like, you have so much potential in the future to do records.
Yeah, definitely does.
So yeah, but yeah, my most valuable record is definitely, well, if there was a 3-month record, I would say that. But my most valuable, like, single month record is 585 hours awake in a month. It was like 540 HP. That was the most difficult thing I've ever like done in my entire life personally. Like I literally like I went days without showering. Like I mean some days I would go without even eating and stuff like that, just because I didn't want to waste.
You said 540 hours played?
It was 540 EHP.
Oh wait, how many hours played do you think that was then?
I said 585 hours awake during the month.
580?
Okay.
585, yeah.
Wow, nice.
And one day during the month, I didn't have any power. So yeah. Well, okay, it was like 12 hours where I didn't have any power. And that happened on RuneScape 3 too, when I was going for a month record. My power went out. So fucking annoying.
Damn.
So, yeah.
It was really annoying when I actually during my week record I closed my client during the first 6 hours of the day. I closed my client like 4.5 hours in, so I lost, or 4 hours and 45 minutes in, so I lost like an hour and 15 minutes on my day,
But
which
I
was
just
like
want to say, like, for my month, like, the reason there's a huge difference between like the hours played and the EHP is because
yes,
of again that day that I didn't have
yeah,
power.
that's
Like,
why I
it
was
it
trying
would
to.
have been like 555 hours and 585 hours played and like 30 hours wasted, which is, I mean, 1 hour a day wasted is, it's, I guess,
That's fine. But I don't
because
know.
I take long
You
showers.
see, went without eating and showering. I don't think like an hour a day justifies
and,
that.
and, and like I know it's already, but I wasn't like gaining like the fastest XP per hour the entire time because I was really tired. So but yeah.
Okay, maybe we should just end the video now. It's been quite long now, so.
So we're not going to discuss free time.
Okay. Yeah, sure. If you have something you want to say about.
It's your video. You're the captain of the ship. What do you want to do?
No, I don't know. It's fun. It's long. Like people can just stop this video if they don't want to watch anymore anyway. So
Yeah.
you can just talk about it if you want to.
There's probably no one watching at this point, but yeah.
No, I think there
I
are
guess
people that watches this. I think there are a lot of people that like just listening to rambling stuff while doing something.
Okay, can we get a Dan's game in the chat if you guys are still watching? But yeah, I guess when discussing free time, in my opinion, free time is the biggest unfair advantage when competing in RuneScape, aside from the Wheel of Fortune in RuneScape 3, or microtransactions rather in RuneScape 3, because the idea of, for example, me, the only reason I was able to beat Lord Speed to 200 mil agility was because I had more free time than him is an absolutely ridiculous statement. I mean, obviously, like, to say that like if two players had unlimited free time and one player literally couldn't play like 18 or like 17 hours a day like Link's Time does, then obviously they're worse. But I'm talking like when because like everybody has different amounts of free time, and so it's hard to compare people in terms of like because like there's like the only way you could possibly make it even in competition is if everyone had the same amount. If like hypothetically you could only play like 2 hours of RuneScape a day, then it would actually show who is the better player, to be honest, at that point.
Yeah,
I definitely look at how much time someone spend like of their free time, how much of their free time they're actually spending on RS, like which makes it more challenging. Like, okay, so like Linkstein has all his free time and he's actually put in the effort of putting it all towards RuneScape, whereas it could just be so much easier for him to spend like a few hours a day doing something else. You know, like it's really hard. Like people say like free time is the best, is like the winning factor, but there's also the factor of actually being disciplined enough to be playing that many hours consistently for years. That's different.
Yeah.
Like not everyone with all the free time could be able to do that anyway. Or barely anybody with that amount of free time could do that. So it's like a weird, it's like a combination of being able to do it and then actually having the free time.
Yeah, like plenty of people could say that they are able to do something, but if they don't have any proof of them actually being able to, like not even having any good records, like I don't really believe them for the most part, to be honest. Like,
yeah, you definitely have to have credibility. Yeah. Like when somebody says that they're going to go for a 200 mil before they're even 99 is like the most hilarious statement. Unless they've done like a really challenging achievement before and they could say that they could do it, but
because
most people, like I've literally met like over like 20 or 30 people throughout my history that told me that they were going to go for 200 mil agility, and literally like only one of them has done it, and that was Kai, man. So yeah.
The thing is too is that we kind of need practice for grinding and efficiency, and pretty much everything requires practice. So if you don't have any practice beforehand, then it's not very likely that I will do it perfectly at least. And you shouldn't have. I mean, you should be confident about yourself, but you also shouldn't press yourself so much just to start off with, because then you might exceed your own limits and burn out.
Yeah. Of course, you should challenge yourself. Like I love
Yeah.
when people challenge. I love when people set themselves extremely difficult goals that they don't think that they can achieve. Because at the end of the day, they'll feel a lot more achievable doing so. Like when I was doing 200 mile agility in RS3, I didn't think I was capable of doing it. And then when I actually ended up doing it, it was like the most rewarding feeling in the entire world. Like Oi is another example. Like he didn't think he was capable of getting max, and then he ended up getting it. It still is. He thinks his most impressive achievement that he's done because he didn't think he was capable of doing it. So yeah.
Yeah. So what about you, AJ?
I mean, like, yeah, it's definitely important to like set a sort of like middle way through like giving yourself an extremely challenging achievement that's unrealistic, and then knowing your limits. Like, for example, I know I'm capable of like 25 mil mining, but am I capable of 50 mil? I don't know. That's a challenge. And like saying that I wanted to go for 200 mil is like too much. That's way too many hours for me. I wouldn't be able to do that. But like 50 mil is more of a reasonable challenge for me.
Yeah, say yourself.
But I wouldn't be challenging myself if I said like, all right, I'll do like, I know I'm 100% capable of doing 25 mil mining, so I'll say that. That's not challenging yourself. Like, I respect when people challenge themselves, but like setting unrealistic goals is taking it too far.
Yeah. For me personally, I like telling people that I'm going to do a really challenging achievement because then it sort of peer pressures me to finish the achievement. Well, that's not a very good strategy for most people because then, like, most people are just really hyped about an achievement. They'll be like, yeah, I'm going to go for tunable mining purely off granite. They're, like, really hyped in the beginning. They probably do, like, a month or two of mining, and then they end up burning out. Like, it goes back to, like, the credibility thing where you kind of have to do a long-term achievement before you could say that you could actually do something. So, yeah.
We also have to start somewhere, so that's that. So,
yeah, of course. Yeah. Everyone has to start from, like at one point I was terrible at nolifing, but it comes with practice and not having a life basically.
I feel like I've kind of been always good at nolifing almost, like because when I was like 6 years old or some shit, I I played like that some Harry Potter game for like 4 or 5 hours a day for a while. So and that's like a lot if you think about how young I was and no experience and stuff like that.
Well, as you get older, you gain more patience,
Yeah.
and I guess you get more practice, and as you're able to consistently play more and more each, I guess, passing year, it becomes more natural for you to be able to play that much. Like, I mean, even the almighty Drum Gun, the greatest no-lifer of all time in RuneScape, at one point he wasn't playing 18. He was still playing like 15, but still, he wasn't always playing as much as he did. So,
Brad, how old are you?
I am 20 years old.
All right, I'm just gonna evaluate your patience based on your age.
That's so.
I'm gonna evaluate everyone's patience based on their age now.
No, I mean, like, you kind of don't you guys agree that like with age comes patience?
Yeah, that's definitely true.
I think it's
But that doesn't mean that older people are more patient.
Like when I was super young, getting 99 cooking was literally the most challenging thing I've ever done in my entire life. I actually felt like really achieved getting it because like it was very, very, very difficult for me to stick to it. I mean, I probably did like 200k cooking days, but still, like, it was difficult for me to stick to it.
I find the more long-term things you do, the better you are at the better your patience. Like in real life too. Obviously, if you set more long-term goals and you achieve them, it develops your capability of enduring, like your endurance, I guess.
Yeah, endurance is a perfect word.
That's like one of the traits that I try to like strengthen. I've been like trying to strengthen throughout my life, I guess, and it's something that's valuable to me. Like, and just like the way I can also evaluate other players based on their capability of enduring something.
Yeah.
Kind of goes back to no-lifing, I guess, and grinding.
For that,
Do you know how old his drum gun is?
I'm pretty sure he's in his mid-20s.
Okay. Reasonable.
okay, but should we just stop the video now? I think it's
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
yeah. Well, it was fun. I guess give it a like if you enjoy it. We might make more videos like this about different topics as well. We will see though.
Yeah. All right. I guess I'll see you guys later. Signing out.
I'll see you later. I'm not signing out though, but I'll see you later. I'm dedicated, Brad.